Payback time. Mr. Cain's silent revenge. No one in Port Charles noticed the exact moment Mr. Cain's memory returned. There was no dramatic collapse, no sudden shout of recognition. It happened quietly, on an ordinary afternoon, when a familiar phrase slipped from Willow's lips. Just 3 words. Words she had once used months ago, back when she believed he remembered nothing at all. In that instant, everything came rushing back. The lies, the manipulation, the way she had smiled while controlling every move he made. Mr. Cain kept his face calm. His eyes remained unfocused. To Willow, he was still the same confused man she believed she could guide like a chess piece. What she didn't know was that the game had already changed, and she was no longer the one holding the board. For days, Mr. Cain pretended nothing was different. He asked the same questions. He repeated the same mistakes. He allowed Willow to help him, watching carefully as she corrected him, steered conversations, and quietly rewrote history whenever it suited her. But behind the confusion, his mind was sharper than ever. He remembered how Willow had twisted the truth, convincing others he was unstable. He remembered private conversations she had sworn never happened. Most of all, he remembered the moment she chose control over compassion. Instead of confronting her, Mr. Cain did something far more dangerous. He listened. Every time Willow thought she was alone, he was nearby. Every time she confided in someone, he absorbed every word. Slowly, patiently, he gathered pieces of a puzzle she didn't even realize she was leaving behind. Willow sensed something was off. It started with small things. Mr. Cain remembered names he shouldn't. He asked questions that felt too precise. Once, when she corrected him, he paused, just for a second too long, before agreeing. That pause unsettled her. She reassured herself that it was nothing. After all, she had built her entire plan on the belief that he was broken. People like her didn't expect the broken to fight back. Meanwhile, Mr. Cain began planting subtle seeds. A casual comment here, a misplaced document there. A conversation overheard at exactly the wrong time. People in Port Charles started noticing inconsistencies in Willow's stories, not enough to accuse her yet, but enough to make them watch her more closely. And Willow, she grew defensive. Mr. Cain suggested a small dinner, nothing formal, just a few familiar faces, friends, allies, people Willow trusted. She agreed, confident as ever. What she didn't know was that every guest had a reason for being there. As the evening unfolded, Mr. Cain played his role perfectly, confused, gentle, grateful. Willow relaxed. She corrected him openly, even laughed at his mistakes. Then he stood up. "I want to say something," he said softly. The room fell silent. Willow smiled, ready to guide him if he lost his way, but he didn't. Instead, Mr. Cain began recounting events, private moments only a fully aware man could remember, conversations Willow had denied, promises she had broken, decisions she had quietly made for him without consent. Color drained from her face. One by one, the guests realized the truth. This wasn't confusion. This was clarity. "I remembered everything," Mr. Cain said calmly, "weeks ago." Willow tried to interrupt, tried to laugh it off, but the room had already turned. Mr. Cain didn't raise his voice. He didn't accuse her with anger. He simply told the truth. He revealed how Willow controlled the narrative, how she benefited from his condition, how she had ensured no one questioned her authority. Each word landed like a quiet but devastating blow. Willow finally snapped. "You don't understand," she said desperately. "I was protecting you." "From what? Yourself?" That question ended everything. The people Willow relied on stepped back, emotionally, socially, strategically. Trust evaporated in seconds. The control she once wielded slipped through her fingers. And Mr. Cain, he walked away with his dignity intact. By morning, Port Charles was buzzing. Whispers spread fast, and Willow found herself alone in ways she never expected. Doors closed, calls went unanswered. Her carefully built image cracked beyond repair. Mr. Cain, meanwhile, didn't seek revenge. He sought freedom. He reclaimed his voice, his choices, his life. The most painful part for Willow wasn't public embarrassment. It was the realization that the man she thought she owned had outsmarted her without ever raising a weapon or making a threat. He had beaten her with patience. Days later, Willow received an envelope. Inside was a single note. "I let you believe I was weak because you needed me to be. The truth is, I was always watching." No signature, just the echo of a lesson she
Willow
would never
didn't
forget.
sleep that night. Every sound outside her door felt like an accusation. Every shadow looked like someone watching. By morning, she convinced herself that Mr. Cain's silence was temporary, that he would eventually explain, soften, maybe even forgive. She was wrong. Mr. Cain didn't return to his old routines. Instead, he stepped into places he'd avoided for months. Public spaces, conversations, decisions. People noticed the change immediately. He spoke clearly. He remembered details. He asked questions no one expected. And yet, he never mentioned Willow. That absence terrified her more than open hostility. Behind the scenes, Mr. Cain was doing something unexpected, rebuilding trust. He met privately with people Willow had once turned against him, calmly correcting the record without bitterness. He didn't accuse her directly. He let others reach their own conclusions. The result was devastating. Every clarification exposed another layer of manipulation Willow could no longer explain away. Cornered, Willow did what she always did when control slipped. She created a new story. She told people Mr. Cain was overcompensating. That sudden clarity was a warning sign. She framed his confidence as instability, his memory as selective, his calm as calculated. For a brief moment, it worked. Doubt crept back into the room. But this time, Mr. Cain was ready. At a small gathering, someone asked Mr. Cain a simple question. "When did you start remembering?" He smiled. "Before I said I did." Then he placed a phone on the table. The recording played. Willow's voice filled the room, casual, confident, and unguarded. She spoke about managing him, about keeping him dependent until things settle. She laughed about how easy it was when no one questioned her version of events. No editing, no commentary, just truth. The silence afterward was suffocating. Willow stood frozen, realizing too late that her own words had betrayed her. By afternoon, her credibility was gone. People didn't confront her loudly, they avoided her. Invitations stopped. Conversations ended when she entered a room. Allies became observers, and observers became critics. For the first time, Willow felt what Mr. Cain had lived with for months, being dismissed without explanation. That evening, Willow found Mr. Cain waiting for her. Not angry, not smug, just calm. "You could have destroyed me," she said, voice shaking. "Why didn't you?" He replied, "I didn't need to. You were doing that yourself." She accused him of cruelty, of planning this from the start. He shook his head. "I planned to survive. What happened after, that was choice." That word stung. Choice, the one thing she had taken from him. As Willow tried to salvage what little remained, a new truth surfaced. one even Mr. Cain hadn't anticipated. Someone else had benefited from his condition. Someone who had watched Willow take the blame while quietly pulling strings. And now that person was nervous. Mr. Cain realized his story wasn't over. It was only opening a new door, one that led to a deeper deception and a more dangerous opponent.